Hi, Crystal. Good to see you.
Hello, Dirk. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
thank you for joining us for TEDx Luxembourg Presents Coffee With, and in this case, it's Cristol Barrett O'Loughlin. So really nice to see you again.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a beautiful sunny day here in California, despite what we're all living through in the current climate. So,
No, but it's, of course, you're the one that's going to talk about the sunny day, and I've not met too many as optimistic
Mhm.
people as you. I know you always look at the bright side of things. So that's why I'm really looking forward to this talk. Crystal, if you don't mind, I'll just maybe quickly give a brief overview of why you came to give your TED talk at TEDx Luxembourg City in the first place. Um, I'm guessing not everybody has seen the TED Talk, and for those that are watching this that haven't, I'd strongly recommend you do. I'd have to say that as a host, when I came up onto stage after you came off stage and looked out into the audience, that was a really unique visual. There were the people looking up many had tissues, they had been crying, but despite having old tears in their eyes, they just looked up with such a sense of optimism and just love for what they'd heard. And that doesn't happen very often. And so your talk really touched people on a level that's very difficult to describe. And so I won't even carry on trying. I'd certainly recommend people go and watch the talk. So I'd heard of you initially because I know that you're involved with AngelAid, and so you run AngelAid that looks after, and this is quite unique. So you look after not children with rare diseases, but actually the mothers of, so the parents of people who have rare diseases, which was such a lovely concept that prior to having been introduced to you, I'd never thought about it. You know, it's so clear that people with an illness need to be looked after, but the care for the people that care for them, caring for the carers, is so obviously needed and yet so overlooked. So is that fair to say?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's my great privilege to work with these families every day, and there are 350 million people diagnosed with a rare disease, more than AIDS and cancer combined. So it's just this massive community. And we don't often hear about rare disease because the definition of a rare disease is less than 50,000 patients. So even though it's 1 in 10 families globally that have a child with rare disease, it's just often not discussed in our day-to-day lives at work, or potentially, at the grocery store or running into neighbors.
So
What,
when you talk about a rare disease, so this is a disease that by its very definition, not many people have heard of, but can you give us examples of rare diseases?
Sure. Well, tomorrow, April 15th, is actually International Pompe Awareness Day. And so one of our rare moms who attended our respite retreats, because that's one of the offerings that we have, her daughter has Pompe disease and, has infusions multiple times a week. She's one of the lucky few that have a treatment for her rare disease. There are currently no cures for the 8,000 rare disease known to man, and there are only treatments for 5% of rare diseases. So her daughter receives weekly infusions that are basically keeping her alive and increasing her quality of life. Amicus Pharmaceuticals, provides that infusion, but like I said, one of the very few that have options.
So that's quite an odd thought, really. I mean, you're dealing with parents of people where I guess the situation they're in is there aren't enough people suffering from that disease for pharmaceutical companies to take it or to invest what I would imagine is the required investment to treat them. So I guess you're talking to parents who they don't really have very much hope that this is going to be solved or cured or treated.
Yeah, yeah, it's incredible. You know, you talk about positivity and optimism, and it often, comes to light in the most dire of circumstances. So, what I find with these families is they're filled with hope. Hope is their currency in life, right? They are dedicating themselves to working with the few pharmas and biotech companies that have raised their hand and said, we're going to search for treatments and cures for these rare diseases. The one thing that the community has done that's really changed the landscape over the last 10 years is they've organized as a community. So the whole concept of stronger together, identifying as a rare disease community versus the Pompe community or the MPS community or Tay-Sachs disease. So it used to be that each individual disease group was, sort of rightfully searching for a treatment and a cure for their specific disease. And now there's much more of a sense of what we develop in this space could greatly benefit patients in this space. And so they've organized as a rare community. There's a company called Global Genes that over the last 10 years, that has been their mantra and their mission is to get this community working together on a global basis. And so they're a great partner of ours. And that's helped a lot with legislation, with getting the attention of pharmaceutical companies, and with support services like ours.
So for those people that haven't watched the TED Talk, what is it that you do right now?
Yeah. So so my purpose has come through quite a bit of pain in our family. We I'm the youngest of 5 children, and 3 of my older brothers, my oldest brother, Richard, is still alive, but 3 of my older brothers suffered from and passed away from mucopolysaccharidosis disease, again, a very rare disease. David, Jared, and Randy were 12, 18, and 19 when they passed away. So you can imagine the burden on the family from a caregiving standpoint. And there were no treatments or cures at that time. There still is no cure for that disease, but there is a treatment. And I'm proud to say that AngelAid was established in the year 2000. So this is our 20th anniversary.
Wow.
We spent many years raising funds for research. And one of our research grants went on to be a treatment for MPS disease. So we have the privilege of watching young men who would have passed away in their early teens are now going off to college. So
That,
that's kind of historically what we've done, but we've done a pivot.
well, so that's incredible. In essence, you're looking after these incredibly vulnerable people, and I've been talking to a number of people about the situation that we're in right now, and it seems like it's almost quite odd that when a lot of industries, when they start suffering, other industries tend to explode because the necessity is there for them. And so clearly, the hospitals and these essential workers and supermarkets even, these are people, but I've heard a lot about not-for-profit, so charities that are running out of money, but ironically, they're running out of money at a time when really they need more because the demand for them right now is probably more than it's ever been or has been for a very, very long time. Are you finding that to be the case?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have this really interesting experience happening right now. So rare mothers, we call them rare moms. Rare moms are already living in what is our new reality. They've already been experiencing great social isolation because of their child's rare disease. They've already been homeschooling, either full-time or part-time when their child has symptoms. And they're already dealing with medical uncertainty. So this kind of trifecta of the world that we are sort of waking up to every day now, it's a rare mom's going, welcome to my world, right? I mean, this is how I live every day.
That's an incredible thing to think about. That's really that's quite shocking. You're
It,
absolutely right.
It is. And so if you think of the basic humanity that we've been seeing all over the world, the singing in Italy and the drums and the Zoom calls, the desire to connect, these are all coping mechanisms, right? They're coping tactics to deal with this isolation and this uncertainty and this difficulty. And that's what we offer through AngelAid, is a series of services that train mothers, educate mothers how to cope with the difficult realities of long-term caregiving. So often we bring mothers together in a retreat format. I talk about it in the TED Talk at Barrett Family Ranch is our retreat center. And that connectedness.
But of
Yeah.
course, that's not something you can do anymore.
No, you're exactly right. So as a business, our first impact was we had to cancel our retreat. So
Oh,
we had a retreat scheduled for April. We had to tell those moms, unfortunately, we can't, gather together in person. And it became really clear that our plan, it was always part of our strategic plan to take our services online. It was really clear that we needed to accelerate our plan.
right.
So, so our goal is to educate 3.5 million rare mothers by 2025 on our wellness platform. That's actually only 1% of the community, if you think of it, against 350 million families worldwide. But we knew now with the COVID scare and impact that we needed to bring these services online more than ever. Because we can't bring mothers together in person. So we need to bring them together virtually.
And so how are you going about doing that? Because you said this is something that you'd already thought about. So prior to the pandemic, you'd already thought about doing that, and now it's being accelerated. How are you doing that? Is that, do you have partners that are helping you?
Yeah, we do. And Oprah Winfrey talks about being in flow when you're in the work that you're meant to be doing, that what you need will actually just come. And in these, early morning hours when I was waking up going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? I received a notification from a woman at Microsoft that she had nominated AngelAid to be adopted by the Microsoft Give program, which is basically an employee volunteer program. So for every hour that Microsoft employees dedicate to volunteering for nonprofits, Microsoft actually pays the nonprofit $25 per hour. And we get the benefit of their incredible experience. So we get basically this volunteer workforce that can help us. And we met with the Microsoft team. I explained what we needed to do in the next 30 days. And through a Microsoft Hack for Good program, we put together a hacker team of Microsoft employees and AngelAid employees. And for 24 hours, on March 27th and 28th, we actually built out our online portal. I mean,
That's
it was a
incredible.
miracle.
The timing of all this that's insane. That's fantastic.
Right? I mean, it's so inspiring. I get verklempt about it. Really, truly, all night long. Our Sustainable Mom Guidebook, which is our Rare Mothers Resiliency Program, was being translated into Spanish and Hindi. In this around the world, we had individuals from India and South America, Europe and the United States working with us in this 24-hour sort of accelerated development. So we actually were able to launch our beta version of the portal on April 10th. So this is great timing. Just a couple of days ago, we launched our online portal, and we're celebrating.
How are you finding the reaction to it already?
Yeah, really incredible. So we are in beta mode. We have 15 rare moms that have raised their hand and said, we will beta test for you. And the answer is, wow, I'm in this environment without all the distractions. So one of our our premise in launching the portal was that we needed to have a globally scalable environment, that we didn't have to build from scratch. Even though the Microsoft team was probably capable of building it from scratch, we needed something that we could go online quickly and was very intuitive and could handle multilingual support, and a whole list of requirements. So we did a big analysis and settled on a portal platform called Mighty Networks. And so the Mighty Networks platform is basically like a private Facebook group off of Facebook. So we don't have the distraction of advertising and all the friends and family posts. There's definitely still a role for Facebook in our interactions with moms, but when we bring them together, we want to do it in this really quiet environment that allows us to bring our health and wellness practitioners, into the environment and lead guided meditations, lead 2-minute yoga, lead our sustainable mom wellness training. So for our needs, we needed a portal and an environment where we could create some serenity, and we're able to do that with this environment. So, so the feedback is, where have you been? I'm so excited. Thank you. And it's coming in every day.
That's just wonderful. And it's incredible how with this happening, there are so many stories, because I've been talking to a number of other TED speakers as well. And it's incredible how so many stories of incredible opportunities that have popped up and just really successful outcomes to projects that may have been a little bit on the back burner before, but suddenly everything's been accelerated. And this really is just such an incredible example of a situation like that. And you've clearly created something incredible. Crystal, if you don't mind, just as a form of conclusion, what would be a message that you have to give to the people watching? I mean, considering the circumstances that we all find ourselves in, what's your message to everybody?
Yes, absolutely. So we're able to find our inspiration in the courage of the mothers that we serve. So I owe a great debt of gratitude for a whole community of people that are supporting these mothers, friends and family, corporate sponsors, our volunteers, our donors. Now that we have our portal online, we actually need to staff this environment with licensed mental health and social workers. So we're doing a capital campaign to raise $675,000 over the next 6 months. So one message is, if you're inspired by this story and you'd like to support us, please visit AngelAidCares.org. You can see all about what our offerings are. If you know any rare mothers, or you think they might be a rare mother, send them to us. We're here as a resource. And I'd love to just take a moment and give a shout out to the women that wake me up every day in service. So to Phyllis, to Jamie, to Sarah, Lynn, Annika, Erin, Monica, Shelby, Gail, Eva, Maria, Solange, and literally 350 million other rare moms on the planet. We are here for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it still strikes me. I can't get this out of my head, this idea that these people that you've been dealing with for such a long time, this is their world, that we feel slightly sorry for ourselves where we're secluded and we're alone, and we're trying to connect to people but it's incredible, as you say, these are people that it's welcome to my world. I can't get that out of my mind. It's what an incredible thing that you're doing, and I can only wish you the very, very best with this platform, and with the support of a company like Microsoft. I have no doubt that this is, I mean, you didn't just get a small company, did you? You got the biggest. So well done.
Gotta go global.
If that was going to happen to anybody, that was going to happen to you, Crystal. Your optimism just drives all of this forward. It's incredible. Yeah. Crystal, thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to have a coffee with me.
Thank you.
And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, Dirk.
All the best.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.